So Bulldogs, all right, I'm going to answer a question I've been getting quite a bit, and I didn't really know how to answer this. I gotta be honest with you. I got this question. It says, advice for an 18 to 20-year-old growing up in this new era post-COVID-19. How do you see the future going? This is a tough one. I mean, how do I see the future going? Gosh, it's changed so much. What I would have said about 3 months ago is different than what I'll say now, and I'm going to guess that what I'll say 3 months from now will also be different. If you guys are just joining me for the first time, I'm John from BulldogMindset.com. On this channel, I teach you how to be a man. I teach you how to build financial independence, how to get the physique that you want, how to get the girls you want, and how to go from the victim mindset to the Bulldog mindset. If that sounds like something that you are about, click that subscribe button. Okay, click the bell so you get notifications. Join us, guys. And if you've been here for a while, click that like so that more people can watch this video. The YouTube algorithm loves those likes. And then there's of course, a card up here to take the Bulldog quiz. If you haven't taken the Bulldog quiz, I know I say it every time, but take the damn quiz, guys. You're gonna want to know what your Bulldog score is from 0 to 100, and I'll give you some help on raising that score. That's what I'm here for, is to try to make you guys into men, to manly men, to make you into bulldogs, to be able to get what you want out of life. You know what I mean? When you learn the skills of personal responsibility, of, getting what you want in life, going after what you want in life, how to get that, how to have that perseverance and grit that's necessary to achieve what you want in life, the world becomes your oyster, okay? Regardless of what's going on in the world and how messed up it is. All right, so again, the question is advice for an 18 to 21-year-old growing up in this new era post-COVID-19. How do you see the future going? This applies to anyone, okay? But especially for you young people, what would I say about this? What is, what's going on? So there are certain people on television saying that this is the new normal. And I scoffed at that. I laughed. I said basically, fuck you. This is not the new normal. It's not going to be the new normal. We're not going to wear face masks forever. We're not going to social distance. We're not going to have shutdowns and lockdowns and all this bullshit and restrictions of our freedoms. But, yeah, I think I'm pretty much wrong about that now, right? Now, when I look at it, I'm like, actually, I guess this might be the new normal for a while. And what I realized about it is that my initial gut reaction was to throw up my fist and be like, fuck you, you're not going to make me do this. And I realized that at an individual level, I could do that. I can not wear a mask, okay, and not go into any stores or restaurants, okay, that's fine. I can not social distance, right? I can not comply, but it doesn't matter. Why doesn't it matter? Because the norm is the norm, right? You can buck against it and you can be angry and upset about it and think it's unjust and unright and unfair and fuck this, but it doesn't matter, because if everyone else is going along and everyone else is doing it and everyone else is putting up the rules in their restaurants and their businesses and following along, you don't have a choice. That is the new normal. So that's one thing I've realized. And, some of this goes back to all of this goes back to a stoic mindset that we have to have, is realizing, like, what's happened now is that we have been revealed, we have been shown the true power that we wield, right? The true sovereignty that we have over our lives in the external world, which is none. All right. We've been living an illusion of thinking that we had freedom, but we don't have freedom. Okay. You don't have freedom. It doesn't matter where you live. You don't have freedom. Unless you live out in the mountains by yourself and you're self-sufficient, you don't have freedom. And part of the thing, I actually read this really good book. It was called Non-Zero by Robert Wright. Okay. And in this book, he was talking about some interesting concept that I don't like. All right, I don't like the concept, but it explains why, because people ask me all the time, why, John, is it that so many of the big cities, New York, Chicago, any kind of big populous city, is so democratic? Why are they so liberal? Why is it so restrictive, right? Why are our freedoms violated? Why is it so socialist in those cities? And the answer is this. It's because as you have an advance in civilization, right? And so when you look at advance in civilization, like New York City is kind of an advanced civilization, regardless of how you define advanced. When you're in closer proximity to other people and your lives are sort of integrated into their lives, right? So for example, if I live in an apartment and I burn down my apartment, it affects a lot of other people. So the more connected we are, the less freedom that we have, because the more that we have to look out the more that we impact each other, therefore, the less individual sovereignty that we can have. It's kind of true. So then that happens as a society. And I don't like that idea. When I was listening to the audiobook and he was talking about this, I had this real just rejection in my gut because it doesn't sit well with me, right? My biggest value in life, as you guys probably know, is freedom. That's what I want, is I want freedom. I will sacrifice many other things in my life in order to gain freedom, because freedom is highly valuable to me. It is the most valuable thing that I have in my life. And so I don't like it, but it doesn't matter if I like it, okay? But the other side of it is that from the Stoic perspective, having this revealed to us, having us see how powerless we are, is a good thing, because it is the truth. We have always been this powerless. It's only that we've had this veil, this illusion that's been put in front of us to make us think that we actually had autonomy and power when we don't have it. At least as we interacted with the external world, we don't have control over most of those things. What we do have full autonomy and sovereignty over is ourselves, our internal state, which no one can take away from us. And that's the key. If you read the Stoic writings, if you read Seneca's letters to Lucilius, one of my favorites, and if you read Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl, okay, you start to see that the only thing that you have power over, the only thing you have sovereignty over in your life is how you interpret situations, okay, and then what your response is. Basically, your spin on things, how you interpret and decide how to interact in this world, right? You have rules, okay? These rules are not rules that you get to construct or create. The nature created a set of rules. Biology created a set of rules for us as humans that govern how we can live and what causes us to live. You can't eat dirt and live, okay? You have to eat certain nutrients. You have to have those nutrients in order to survive. Those are rules. You can't just do what you want. You can't not eat food. Nature has created biological rules for us in terms of intersexual dynamics, right? A lot of you guys want to buck those rules. You want to believe that women should behave in the way that you want them to be attracted to you because of who you are, not what you are. But it doesn't work that way. In the same way, society and the norms that are created by society are a set of rules that we have to play by. We can't opt out of those rules. So what we can do, though, to retain our autonomy, to retain our sovereignty as much as possible, is to choose to play strategically within those rules, to understand as clearly as possible the rules of the game. When we talk about the red pill, okay, and when you look at books like my friend Rollo Tomasi's Rational Male, okay, the goal of this is to clearly see reality, okay? It's not prejudice in the sense that it doesn't take a stance on whether things are right or wrong. When we start to apply morality to reality, that's when we start to have a problem. Because see, that gut feeling that I had in my stomach that I don't like this, that was me trying to place my own values on reality. Reality is what it is, whether you like it or not. You shouldn't have a visceral response to what reality is. You should just accept it as what it is, okay, whether you like it or not. Now, if I have the choice, if I am the president of the world, I won't have anyone wearing masks or shutting things down, okay? I won't have socialism. I won't have taxes, all right? I won't have any of these things that I don't like. I would construct the world in the way that I want in my image, but I don't have that power. Now, I can wield influence, and I can increase my influence, and perhaps if I have enough influence and have enough of an army of people that believe what I believe and trust in me, that I can influence them to the point to change some of these rules of the game. But most likely I won't be able to do that. And to some degree, I'm doing it to the best of my ability with this channel. So you guys that are watching this, that are listening to me, what I'm trying to do, I'm not actually trying to change the rules of the game. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to change the rules of the game for you. I'm trying to change it so that we have enough real men who exist, who understand reality and understand what it is to be a man and understand Stoic philosophy, that they can be successful in life and help other people and impact down the chain, down the stream, to actually create a generation of strong men. It's a seed that I'm trying to plant within each of you hoping that each one of you will yield a greater harvest than I have, and altogether will yield a great harvest that may change things. But regardless, even if it doesn't change anything, it will change your life. It will change you. And that's what we need to focus on. Again, when we come back to this, answering this question, I know I haven't answered the question of what do I think this post, what advice would I give, or what do I think how the future is going to go? Let me tell you how I think the future is going to go, and then I'm going to tell you what advice I would give you. So first of all, I think that things are going to change. I do think that the new normal, at least for some time being, is going to be wearing masks and social distancing. I think it's been so ingrained into people's heads, and things have changed so quickly. And there's certain people and certain powers that want things to change in this direction and want us to live in fear, that unfortunately we have seen the test has been done, and people are sheep, and there's so many herds of sheep. You're not going to change it. People are driven by fear. Not courage, not justice, fear. And they're willing to trade their freedom for security or perceived security. And that's not going to change. And so based on that, I see us having masks around for the next few years. I see us social distancing for the next at least year, maybe 2 years. Things will open it up. Things will change. And certain people will, of course, not care about this. I think as the next younger generation comes up, that's when we'll see things change back again, because they're going to want to party. They're going to want to go to nightclubs, and they're going to want to be in close proximity, and they're not going to remember the things that we are going through right now. Okay. So until that generation comes up and becomes of age and wants these things, I think the current climate is going to stay like it is. It's going to be one of fear. I think the division is going to continue to increase, and it's going to continue to stay that way as social media and the algorithms behind it tend to drive people apart and to drive particular narratives, right? So I don't see most of those things changing from the perspective of dating and relationships and things like that and going out. Again, I don't see a lot changing in the next couple of years, right? So I see this as some rules that you're going to have to follow, that you're going to have to adapt to, and that you're going to have to change your strategy around. Now, there's some good things that have come of it. Some, good or bad, I guess there's some changes. I think that remote working is going to be easier and it's going to be more accepted, and there's going to be more opportunities to do that, which is a good thing. It'll mean that there's more opportunities for a lot of you guys to be able to work from home and to hustle on your side business while you're doing that. I think that's cool. I think that's great. So that's a good thing. More virtual type of meetings and things like that. I think there'll be a lot of more technology being adapted because it's been forced to be adapted, right? Menus are going to be scannable from barcodes. Why would that change at this point, right? So many people have had to come up and to adapt their systems to increase their technology to operate in this world. And those are good things, right? And that's going to create a lot of opportunities, and it's going to make, things better to a large degree. All right. So here's what I would say though. This is kind of what I would put forth and say about everything is this, as far as advice, guys. And I've given you some advice already. You probably already kind of figured it out, but here's the thing. This is what I would say to you guys, especially you young guys growing up. Stop fighting against the rules, right? So understand, right? Have a good understanding. Read some good philosophy, all right? Everything from Stoic philosophy to libertarian philosophy, political philosophy, okay? Understand it. Understand, read the Communist Manifesto. It's pretty shitty writing, but read it anyway, okay? So you understand it. Understand some of the great philosophers, and especially the political philosophers of time. Understand the legal and judicial system that exists, okay? Educate yourself on those things so that you have a good background and understanding, okay? Once you have that, then you can see where there's a miscarriage of justice. You can see where things are not what they should be, and you can have the wisdom to understand all of that. But then you must also accept reality. So look at what's happening. Look at what reality is. Look at the landscape. Always seek to clearly see what reality is and what the rules of the game are, and then optimize using the wisdom that you have, that you understand about how things should be and how things work and how systems work that are universal. Optimize your strategy to fit whatever the current rules in reality is. right? So for example, I just give you one example here. Now I've talked about this before. From a philosophical perspective, I believe that taxation is theft. Okay. There's no one ever going to convince me that you can take money from me that I have worked for and justify doing that at the threat of violence against me, of putting me in jail at the end of a gun. Okay. Nothing is going to convince me that that's not theft. It's theft. But knowing that and knowing what the tax laws are, I've educated myself pretty well in the tax laws. I've hired some of the best accountants that exist in the US to help me to handle and manage my taxes. And I'm going to optimize the way that I run my businesses and my income streams in order to optimize it so that I can pay as little taxes as possible while still respecting the rules of that game. So that's just one instance, right? So that's the same thing that you need to apply here in life in this post COVID-19 era or during this time is, right? Understand what the real principles are, but then figure out what the rules are and then figure out how to optimize your life around those rules, right? What can you do? What opportunities exist, right? And here's the thing, and I talked about this before, the great equalizer is that everyone has to play by the same rules. So there's people that resist the rules that say, I'm not going to play, and they automatically lose the game. If you decide that you are going to resist the rules of the game, or you're not going to play the game, it's like passing your turn. It doesn't advance you on the board. It makes you guaranteed to lose. If you want to be a loser, fight reality. If you want to be a winner, figure out how to optimize your gameplay to reality. It doesn't mean buying into it. It doesn't mean believing it. It doesn't mean accepting it in the sense that accepting that it's correct. It means accepting it in the sense that it is the reality. So learn to accept reality, learn how to optimize and strategize based on this, right? If I'm a young person and I'm looking at what's going on, I'm figuring out ways that I can use this to my advantage. Okay. So if it comes to jobs, right? Okay. Figure out how to set yourself up to be able to get good working remote jobs, to take advantage of those opportunities that you're going to have of being able to work remotely. And, you won't have to commute. So, so use that time to start building a business on the side. Use that time to figure out, figure out in this particular economy, what things are going to be valuable, what things are going to be most valuable in the future. Where are things headed, right? So how can you build a business that's going to be able to help you to become financially independent in a time of having cancellations and censorship? Okay. If you want to be able to speak your truth and to be able to speak your mind, start building financial independence, right? This is why, guys, if you haven't already joined the Bulldog Mindset membership, it's $7 for the first month, and the price is going to go up. I'm going to probably raise it up to $50 a month in the next year here, as we're getting over 800 and something members in there now. But in there, I talk about building a business and building financial independence and set you up for the systems and the resources that you need to be able to do that. So invest in yourself. Do something like that. Join a group of like-minded people like there is in Bulldog Mindset. Again, just click down below and you can join us, okay? And set yourself up for that future. Think about these things, okay? Because if you want to be able to speak your mind, and believe me, I've been canceled, all right? I just put out my new edition of my canceled book, all right? Publisher canceled this book, bestseller book, made them probably $1 million. They don't care. They cancel it. But I created my own book because I learned how to do this. I learned how to build my own business, how to not rely on the system and other people in order to create, a financial life for myself, to build money for myself. All right. So learn how to do those things. All right. From the dating perspective. Okay. Hey, if you're not going to be able to go out, you're not going to be able to go and talk to girls at bars and stuff like that, then figure out how else are you going to adapt to this, right? A lot of guys are learning how to just go and talk to girls in environments on the street or where they're at, right? Day game, whatever you want to call it. Or if you're going to have to deal with the online presence, then figure out how to optimize it for yourself. I mean, it's tough. Yeah, but hey, what other alternative do you have, right? Get some good pictures, get some good photos, get your physique on point, do what you can to look as good as possible, hire a photographer, okay? Hire a photo retoucher to help retouch your photos, to optimize everything so that you're going to have some success there. Don't fight it and be like, it's not fair. It's not fair. Instagram, it's not fair. So what? It is what it is. Okay. You don't have other options right now, or those options don't look so good. So figure out all this stuff. Okay. Figure out what the rules are. Figure out what the new social norms are, whether you like them or not. And I don't like them. All right. I don't like them. I hate them. But I try to be objective in looking at those things and deciding, all right, well, hey, this is how things are going to be. So I'm going to have to deal with this, and this is what I'm going to have to do, right? And so what I'll say about this is that you have to learn the rules to the game and learn how to play by them in order to break them. Ultimately, you will break the rules, and you'll pay the consequences for breaking the rules. But you become a person that the rules don't apply to by understanding the game, by understanding how to play the game perfectly, and then understanding how to separate yourself from the game, how you can break those rules and get away with it. That's the key. That's the key to life, is figuring out all the rules, playing by all those rules, becoming a perfect player of all those rules, optimizing your strategy, and then eventually breaking the rules. Okay, that's the key. That's what you guys need to be focusing on and doing right now. So it doesn't matter. I don't have a crystal ball. I can't tell you what the future is going to be like. But I can tell you that this is not the first time that there's going to be something like this happen. Okay, that freedoms are slowly eroding. Okay, like personal freedoms. Expect that. And that's the natural progression of civilization. I hate it. I abhor it. But that is what it is. So get ready for that. Adapt to those. You know, the more financially, it's more important, so much more now to be financially independent if you want to live a good life. That's why, again, I said Bulldog Mindset membership. Guys, join that, because I'm teaching you the lessons in there to be able to build your own business and be able to become financially independent and to be able to invest, to become less dependent. Because the more dependent you are on the system, the more they can control your life and tell you what to do. So we may not know what the future is. Okay, we have some predictions of it, but what's going to stay the same is this, is that one, your self-efficacy is going to depend on you insulating yourself from what happens. See, it doesn't matter a lot what goes on outside my life, whether they raise taxes, whether so-and-so gets elected president or not, or whether I have to wear a stupid mask. It doesn't really affect me all that much, because I've grown myself I've focused on the internal things that buffer me from that. So I don't have to worry about those things. I don't really like the term buffer, but that's the best way I could describe it. Okay. And I've built the financial buffer. Again, don't really like the term, but I've built that to protect me from that, harm. There's no perfect protection, but the more that you can become self-reliant, having self-efficacy and independent only on yourself, the better off you're going to be. But in order to do that, like I said, you have to understand the rules. You have to study the rules. You have to figure out how to break those rules once you have mastered those rules. All right, guys, that's all I got for you this time. Let me know. What do you think? What are your predictions on what the world's going to be like? How long is this going to last? And what's going to happen to our personal freedoms? I want to know. All right, take care.